That's awesome. And I'm loving that you have that full view right there.
Yeah, I feel like I'm outside. That's why I went ahead and put my office, like, so the bed's on the other side of the room, like split it because I wanted to have this huge window and also the privacy of shutting the door and being like, okay, you guys stay over there when I have to work. And it works out great too because um, I was gonna say my partner Brandon uses this when he's on his school calls too, so it's like it really worked out. So anyway, hi
Okay.
everyone that's watching live. This is Christine. I'm Neve. You
Hi,
guys don't really
everybody.
know me, but yeah, Christine. So we just wanted to. Well, I'm not really going to share much, I don't think, but I just wanted to allow Christine this space to share and ground her experience coaching with me, and to kind of give like a little sneak peek to anyone that is really interested in joining the group and doing this inner work, just to be able to hear it from someone who has just gone through it. And Christine did it over the summer and has just finished. So yeah, I don't know where you want to jump off with that, but whatever you want to share is great with me.
Well, I'm going to start where I am presently. And I like to say that a lot of the information that I learned and explored over the summer, I'm in just such a good place and I feel so grounded compared to where I was in April. Now, just to go into a little bit into the past, prior to coaching and even prior to my yoga teacher training, I was always reading about personal development and watching YouTube videos and going to meditation groups and taking in a lot of information and having a lot of conversations, mostly with myself and journaling and not connecting with anybody else. So moving forward to April of this year, when things were starting to just basically collapse around us, not just me, everybody. The pandemic has hit everybody in one way or another. And I was having a very hard time coping. And also a lot of the strategies to cope with stress and to keep myself grounded were not exactly working. And once I started to connect with Neve and discuss joining the Revive Your Essence group, I realized I really needed guidance in my journey. And I am so happy I took that chance and the plunge, including the financially, and really invested in myself because my personal growth extrapolated from here to here so fast. And it was a lot. Don't get me wrong. I had some breakdowns, but there's beauty in the breakdown. I was able to plant another seed and grow from there again. And with a lot of the strategies that I've learned within this group, it made it so much easier. And not only that, the women and men that have joined this group have also inspired me to maybe consider, new things, such as right now, I'm considered just taking a break from drinking and feeling the benefits of not having that cloudiness in my energy, or thinking about doing some inner child work and possibly purchasing, like my own stuffed animal to work with. So it's opened a lot more doors for my own to even continue my personal growth from here. So I am so happy that I joined this group and grateful that Neve and I have crossed paths, because I don't know what my summer would have looked like without having the self-study aspect. So join.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. And I think so. What do you think was the difference, like the main difference from doing some of the self work, or doing yoga, doing asana at home and meditating and being on your own without the group or without a guide, to having the group and a guide and an actual a path? How did that make a difference?
It made a difference. I had accountability with the group, and certainly nobody is forcing you to do anything. Nobody is getting on your back because you didn't do what you're going to say, and everyone's still supportive. For instance, if I said I am deleting Facebook from my phone and I am not going to spend hours and hours on it on a Monday, and then we meet on Friday and say, it just didn't happen. No one's going to judge me for it. They're actually going to offer me, there's more going to be more support offered. Like, maybe it's time to think about deleting the app, or maybe freezing the account, and giving more advice opposed to, you shouldn't be, you went against your word. And that's not the feedback that is offered at all in this group.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. Like, so yeah, if you could maybe from your perspective share what it's like working with me or in the groups that I facilitate, because I've definitely heard from different people different things, like different, mostly positive, but different things about the way that I facilitate. So what was your experience, or what did you like? Or I know you're just speaking to like that collective compassion, I guess is a good word.
Yes, and I think that's the best word. And I think what I enjoy about how you monitor, monitor,
Facilitate.
facilitate the group is how you do give room in the beginning of the course. Beginning of the session of let's brag. I think that is like, we find so much, like there's so much conversation from that. Moving into an exercise, I think the one I particularly like was with the boxes and the challenges. So we take, I'm not sure what the name of it was, but we take it, taking the issue and just dissecting it to like, it's more manageable and you can reach your goal. To some of the meditation techniques as well. My favorite has been the container practice.
Oh yeah, I love that container practice.
I do, because I do find myself when it's like, it's time to sit down. Exactly. So, and I do enjoy that Monday is more about, it's more about an exercise and discussing maybe how to, I don't want to say a problem, but trying to move into a better habit, more or less. To Fridays more like, let's get together and let's have a conversation about what's going on and how our week was.
Yeah, I really like that, because when in the past, when I did coaching like 2017, 18, it was always like once a week, and I really liked that my most recent mentor was like, yeah, Mondays is like doing the work, talking about the challenges, talking about the strategies, a little bit more like of the coaching and the content. And then Fridays is like questions and connection. So I'm really happy that you like that, because I really like hanging out with you guys more than once a week. Like once a week just didn't feel like enough. It did when I was doing it in person, when I was coaching in person once a week, obviously, because I had to clean my whole house and sage it and do all that stuff. I wouldn't want to do that twice in a week. Once was good. But for a Zoom, yeah. And I think that it just seems like a really, really good time to connect. Like during this, there's so much uncertainty right now. And like, I'm so grateful. And I just want to take a moment to send some love to everyone being hit by hurricanes and fire and smoke, because we're at least the two of us right now are on the East Coast, and so we have a lot to be grateful for.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to send love out to all of you that are in the Texas area and wherever the fires are hitting almost the whole like West Coast practically. So all of you guys, I know I have friends in all three of the Washington, California, and Oregon, and it's like the breathing actually, and even what's the next state, Montana, like it's starting to, the smoke is starting to spread everywhere. So sending you guys love. Because I'm thinking about that. And I was thinking about today, I was like, I went to a yoga class outside and I was like, wow, I can breathe fresh air. Like, yeah, maybe it's 50 degrees and it's a little cold for yoga.
Mm-hmm.
At least there's fresh air for me to breathe. And it's just like always finding that gratefulness. So out of the content as far as like like the workbook and the course guide, like what was your favorite thing? I don't know if you have a favorite thing, but
Within the course book, I really did enjoy the journaling, the journal prompts. And anyone that's watching this, it's certainly not mandatory, but I would certainly recommend taking it if you do join this course, reading, the journal prompts and I was taking probably 30 minutes a week just to copy paste it onto a Word document and thoughtfully think about and write out what I was thinking. And it helped shift my perspective. And I think, and it's on another side note, it's so important to journal because guess what? Nobody else is going to read it except for you, and it's just a great way to work out what's in your mind. And I think between also the units in the Facebook group, there are some units with videos. And I think some readings that were also very helpful and were really great to watch and discuss in the during our weekly meetings.
awesome. Oh, well, I'm really glad that it touched your heart. And I love that at the beginning, you're like, I was like here. And it was like, like, put
Yeah.
here, grow, personal growth, it really does make a difference being with a group and having a guide and a journey. Cause I personally struggled a lot with implementing all the Ayurveda on my own. It really wasn't until I was in a group with other people doing it that I was like, oh, self-care, self-love. All right, this is making sense.
Oh, yeah. And I feel like some of the Ayurveda habits that I was practicing before the group have definitely been more implemented in my life. And I'm excited to actually start exploring and looking at more habits to bring in, such as I think like, there's cupping your eyes with water
Well, so
or
you can put castor oil or ghee in your eyes. I've done both. Ghee, you definitely want to do right before you go to bed, and I would make your own ghee for that, so it's a little bit more complicated. But it's kind of crazy. Like I have the castor. I have like basically I have a little. I have a drawer of oils next to my bed, like one for my nose, one for my ears, one for my eyes, one for my feet. And I don't do all of them all the time, but whenever I feel like I need them, when I spend a lot of time on the screens, and I do the oil in my eyes. I like to do it right before bed because you do get a little blurry vision. But that's nice if you're on the screens a lot. It feels very nourishing. So the idea with all of those, and I think, basic 101, you start with tongue scraping, right? That's
mhm.
the easiest. And then you slowly start to add in like maybe oil pulling or maybe, doing self massage or whatever. But I think that it's the main thing that got me started and is still doing those is like if you the teaching is if how you perceive the external world through your senses, right? Through our touch, taste, smell, sight, right? And if our sense organs dull, our perception of reality becomes dull. And so once that clicked for me, I was like, oh, I want to have a sharp perception of reality. Like I'm going to keep doing
Mhm.
all these things. So the Banyan botanical ear oil, that's like my new favorite. And the last time I flew in a plane, I put a little bit of the ear oil on cotton balls and put them in my ears. Oh my gosh, my ears were like, oh, like thank you when I was flying and landing because it's just like it feels disruptive to the body
Yeah.
plane. So I don't know how much flying anyone's doing right now, but probably not much. But yeah, anyway, just a little. I'm excited. Let me know. Like, don't like please brag in the Facebook group whenever you try different Ayurveda practices because it's I don't think I liked any of them the first time I did it. I definitely did not like neti potting. I didn't like oil pulling. And it's like continuing to try things that I feel like it sort of starts to like, oh, now it feels nourishing to put castor oil in my eyes.
Mhm.
It definitely didn't the first time. It felt weird. I'm like, why am I putting oil in my
Yeah, I feel like I don't know, like when it comes to Ayurveda, you're like a little baby deer that's trying to like start walking, and you're like, why am I doing this walking thing? And then when you get it, it's like, wow, I feel it. Like this is why I'm doing this. I really feel the benefits. Because I agree, like I did not enjoy neti pot, but when my sinuses were so much more open than usual, I'm like, this is not going away from my life ever again.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference. It makes a huge difference. And it's so great when you do get stuffed up because you just do that and it's like, like everything just releases and you're like, wow, I can breathe again. This is great. So anyway, I think it's cool that in Ayurveda that our awareness is supposed to become more and more subtle, more acute, essentially sharper with age versus becoming more dull. And that excites me. Like, yes, I want to be on
It
that path.
It is. And I mean, even going back into the course, what I was able to start detaching from my younger image of being in my early 20s, of being crazy and doing whatever and being up all night and drinking and smoke, and then gradually moving into my later part of my life, or I guess a third of my life, and be able to move away from and detach, like, okay, you know what? I had that part of my life. Now I want to live, I guess, like the best life I can. And if these are the strategies I'm taking in, and a routine, or excuse me, habits I'm taking in to have my best life and be my best self at the same time.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. And it's true, like that's what you were speaking about is identity evolution, right? There was this, I was, this younger party girl identity, if you will, or whatever, kind of reckless or whatever you want to.
Yeah.
It's like I don't necessarily care about my self-care as much. I want to just enjoy life, or we're all like that in our 20s anyway, right? So I think most of us. And so like there's layers of that I've digested. I still think there's another layer that I need to digest, and it's okay because I'm going to keep doing this work. But it's like what I heard you saying was like I'm starting to design and discover who is the person that I'm becoming, because it's not the one that's staying. It's not the version of me that stayed up all night. It's this person that's maybe going to try putting oil in my eyes or whatever, right? And that's a huge part of at least what I feel like the coaching is about, is like really understanding who you want to become and creating that. So like making life, like you're creating life instead of feeling like life is happening to you and you're like a being hit by it. It's like, actually
Mm-hmm.
I'm driving this car. And I'm responsible for the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the beautiful. And I'm okay with taking that responsibility. And I can forgive myself for the past because maybe I wasn't aware of the things I am now. I was actually talking to Brandon about that a little bit earlier when we were eating lunch. I was like, wow, like me looking back with my awareness now at some of the stuff I did when I was younger, I can't believe that I did it. But the version of me that I was then, I didn't know any better. I was doing the best I could with the consciousness I had. So why would the version of me now hate that version of, you know what I mean? Why would I carry regret or just hate or anything against myself? Because I really was trying. I just didn't know. And now I know. And that's, you know what I mean? So it's like that. There is a big part to forgiving and integrating the past.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I'm really glad you said that, because it's giving me something to dwell on, well, not dwell on, think about, because it really is the truth. I had no idea. The more I was starting to learn in general, I was like, whoa, I need to start pushing these like things away from me. And I mean, I'm going back to like when I thought fast food was okay for you. And that started like pushing that pushing that away from my life. And it's like, okay, we want to think about the quality of meat that we want to ingest. It's like we want to think maybe more of a plant-based diet, and just learning from every like aspect. You're like, sometimes it's really overwhelming.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely is. That's why I really try to take the compassionate and baby steps, because the thing with Ayurveda is you're not really trying to force your whole life to be Ayurveda. You're just trying to take little steps in the direction. And what happens is when you become unattached to the things, they just fade as far as negative things. Like, it's not like if you force it, it's like what you resist persists. If you're like, I can't ever be on Facebook at night, then of course you're still thinking about it. So of course you're still going to do it. And it's like, yeah. So anyway, I think that's why baby steps are important. And I also wanted to bring that up because there was the identity part, because there was a lot of big stuff I feel like that you emotionally digested from your past that was huge for you. Would you agree?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. And I don't want to like pull the discussion in another direction, but I certainly have, and I did some powerful things that I didn't realize. I pushed some people that were toxic in my life, and I was like, whoa. And I realized some behaviors that maybe I've done in the past that made maybe a turnoff. Who knows? There was some powerful stuff.
Yeah, and it's just as we grow in our self-love, it's like, oh yeah, I do need to, either see if I can fix toxic stuff, like fix those relationships, or get rid of them, because there's like this, we start to become more confident and have more self-worth and more self-love, and it's like, oh yeah, I don't actually need to put up with that person because they're not even being kind to me, or they're stepping over boundaries that I'm trying to set. So like, yeah, this is all the stuff we do.
Yes.
We do all of the things. So yeah, thank you so much for jumping on here and just sharing some of your experience. And I thought you did really, really well without getting like super personal. So that was awesome. Yeah, because it's, you don't know everyone in this group. So I just really appreciate that. Is there anything else that you want to say, or any closing thoughts?
I think just the one closing thought is be ready to invest in yourself. I wouldn't just join because you don't, like, it's a good idea. Like, you're ready to invest, you're ready to be with like-minded people, and you're ready to grow. Yeah. I would really recommend that for anyone that is ready to just grow. And be ready for the good stuff, the bad stuff.
Right. Growth isn't easy. It's not easy. What's that quote? There's that one quote where it's like, if nothing is challenging you, you're stagnant, or something along those lines. It's like, if there isn't anything that's really creating some, I don't know, some friction, then you're just chilling, right? So yeah, I don't know. I'm committed to the growth path. I constantly, as I grow, see more areas where I'm like, oh, yep, there's room for growth there. There's room for growth there. Like, now I'm using cast iron pans and like learning how to clean them. Okay, that's another edge. Like, so anyway, well, thank you so much for jumping on here, and hopefully this was helpful for everyone that's listening. And if you have any questions for me or Christine, you could put them under this video. Like, we're both in this group pretty often, sharing things and chatting, so we will get back to you. But yeah, I think that's it. Everyone have a happy Saturday.
Yes, happy Saturday, and namaste, everybody.
Yeah, namaste.
You're so